All right, here's your update. I started mowing at 5:30 this morning and got 15 acres done out of 20, and the AGCO broke down. Fitting. Always seems to break down at the worst time. So I am currently stuck because the 966 just got picked up this morning to go to the diesel shop, diesel mechanic, and get fixed. They're planning on working on it tomorrow, but I kind of need to finish mowing hay like now. So I just texted one of my buddies to see if I could use one of his tractors. We're gonna see if he can get back to me soon. I'm going to get lunch right now. I currently am at a standstill. So I'll keep you updated. Well, here's your update. My buddy, his dad stopped by with his John Deere self-propelled mower, Big Johnsky. He was able to finish the front field for me because there was a big gate into that, but these back fields here couldn't fit into them, so didn't get them mowed. Now me and my brother are working on this AGCO here, trying to figure out the fuel issue. We think there might be like a punctured line somewhere letting air in. We don't really know what's going on, but we're trying, we're working. So here he comes. You are my last working tractor, so please do not break today. Here's our predicament, ladies and gentlemen. 966 in the shop right now, getting worked on. It's supposed to be done this week. They're supposed to be working on it right now. Haven't heard from them. Called them an hour ago. They didn't call me back, so I don't know what's going on. The AGCO, down in the shop, it runs and it drives, okay? The problem, it's got a stutter. It's got either dirt in the line or air getting in it somewhere. I can drive it. I can move it. I might have to use it to back up some wagons up a hill when we bale the neighbors here. I can't run the baler with it. This tractor here, the Case, is the only tractor I am going to be able to use to do anything. So I'm going to go up and TED the small little field up by the road. It was the thickest field. It was actually really thick. I'm going to TED that so we can get it baled tomorrow. The back field for that guy was thinner. We'll let that go. The next neighbor down, we're gonna let that go till tomorrow, should be dry. And then the neighbor next to that, he had 3 pastures. I only got one of them mowed. It's pretty thin, so I might actually try to bale it today, but we're gonna see. It's gonna be a lot of running around if I try to do that, because I got to TED with this tractor, then I gotta hook up the rake, and then I gotta bale with it. Don't know how that's gonna go. Well, never thought I'd say it, but John Deere to the rescue. So the diesel mechanic called me yesterday and said the clutch on the 966 pushed the crankshaft forward, which threw everything out of alignment, and everything is, it's just, yeah, stuff's boogered up in there. So they had to split the tractor to figure out what's going on. They said we'd be lucky if it was done this week. Today's Thursday. So I texted my boss yesterday, kind of in a panic because I got hay laying and I need to get it baled today. I texted him, I said, hey, you mind if I borrow a tractor, get my stuff baled and mowed here? So he let me borrow his John Deere 7320 loader. I run it quite a bit at work and I enjoy the tractor. It's easy to run, plenty for what we need on our farm. But I just finished up mowing the neighbor's meadows, another 6 or 7 acres. Got it mowed up and we'll try to get it baled Monday or so. But yeah, John Deere to the rescue. We're gonna use it on the baler here today. It's nice, it's a quiet cab and it's got air conditioning, so I'm not really complaining. You wanna know how crappy my day's going? That rake right there is broke. There's a hole. It's missing a thingy. Basically, I was going along, right, raking, and there was a high spot on the ground. Tines came around, got caught in the high spot. Well, there's a slip clutch, right? And the slip clutch is supposed to slip. Well, guess what? The slip clutch didn't slip, and it went, and this arm ended up falling off, and instead of the arm breaking or anything, it yanked the entire spindle out of the whole rotary unit on that. So I was like, well, I can't fix it right now. Like, there's nothing I could do. So I said, and I gotta get hay made, so I just kept raking without that arm. About half hour into it, didn't even finish the small front field that I was doing. Thing just locked up on me. So it's broke, it's trash. We've got a project ahead of us to try to tear into that and figure out what's wrong with that and if it's even worth fixing. So I rented a roller bar rake from a neighbor. My brother just hooked it up to the Case. We're gonna go meet him in the field, get him going so we can start baling. we are trying to salvage the worst week I've ever experienced.
So, what happened first?
My auto tractor broke down the other day.
Not funny, but it's funny because it's all happened in 1 week. And then today, his wing broke.
So now look at that. What is EI doing? EI, I have a question. What's the crooked road here? What's going on?
He was on his phone.
He's probably texting the girlfriend. I mean, I do that a lot too when I be in the tractor. I text you a lot, but my roads don't look like this. My boss is awesome. He let me use his tractor.
It's a John Deere 10 out of 10.
It's a pretty nice tractor.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go. Oh my goodness. Round 2. That was a 10 out of 100 experience right there?
10 out of 100? That's it?
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
You ever have those days where it seems like the devil's following you around and when it rains it pours? That was yesterday. I had the worst day I've ever had on the farm yesterday. It was bad. Let's start from the top. Y'all know 966 was broke down, so that we were already starting off on 1 foot. I had to run the AGCO on the mower Monday, ended up breaking down and have a fuel issue on that. So tedded the hay out, everything worked good with the case and the tedder. Yesterday came around Thursday, I called up my boss, I said, hey, can I use one of your tractors to finish up my hay here? And he said, of course, go for it. Really appreciated that. So I went and picked up the tractor, came back, finished up my mowing. Got that done. After that, I started raking, and I got 5 minutes into raking and my rake broke. Basically, I hit a high spot. So this thing was going around, right? And there was a high spot in the dirt. Tines come around, it hit the dirt a bunch of times. Slip clutch didn't work. And this thing I heard a bunch of grinding. I look back and I'm missing a whole arm out of this thing. Without that spindle in there, there's a loose piece that was running around. And after about 20 minutes of raking, that loose piece caused havoc. I was just going along and the whole thing locked up on me. I didn't realize how bad it was until my brother pointed out to me that there is a hole in the bottom of this rake. This, you're not supposed to have a chunk of metal sticking out from the bottom of your rake. This piece of metal goes like right here somewhere, and it was just, I don't know. It's bad. It's broken. That's not even the end of it. I went over to a neighbor, got their roller bar rake, and Eli raked with that in the case, and it worked good. I started baling, and I got a little over a third of the way through baling, and I started having a bunch of problems with my knotter on the baler. Fortunately, nothing broke. I just had a problem in my twine box, and it made a big old knot where the twine and wasn't looping twine through. And anyway, I had to cut the twine out of the knotter, restart everything, reloop everything. After a half hour of fighting with it, I finally got it. But in the midst of the frustration of the day, everything that was going wrong, and then this, it was just, it was very, very inconvenient timing. But we got it, kept working, nothing broke. So ended up filling up the wagons, and I had to take a full wagon up to the neighbors to get the empty wagon. I didn't have anybody to run wagons back for me the whole time. My pup helped me a little bit, which I appreciated. But I had to stop baling for a second so I could swap some wagons. I go up, take the full wagon up to get the empty wagon. And as I'm looping around their barn, my neighbor's barn, coming back down, he had a drag harrow sitting in his yard. You can probably tell where this is going. He had a drag harrow sitting in his yard in the shade, flipped upside down. I didn't know it was there. It was like out in the open in the worst spot. Ended up hitting it with the AGCO, and I didn't know it was there until I saw the thing loop around the tire, and I was like, oh no, I hope I didn't put a hole in my tire. Guess what? I put a hole in the tire. Here's the tire. I think this is the hole. So yeah, that's been my week. AGCO's broke, 966 is broken, is going to be expensive repair. The rake is broke, and that's going to be an expensive thing to fix. Tires popped. It was just a whole fiasco. And to top it off, my one buddy was backing up the wagon up their hill into their barn and bent the tire out on my old wagon. So when it rains, it pours, So I don't really know where to go from here. We're a small farm. We're still kind of establishing ourselves. Beef side of our business is pretty well established. As far as the hay, we're still working to establish ourselves there. It's not like we have tons of money rolling in all the time, and the amount of stuff that kind of just been going wrong this year has been frustrating. Last year, we didn't have too many breakdowns last year. The only major problem last year was the 966. It was a problem the entire summer. Spent way too much money on it. But if you watch the videos, you know what happened. And if you haven't, well, basically throughout the winter, we kept fixing one thing and another problem would come up. And it was just sitting here in the barn and stuff was breaking. It makes me so frustrated to talk about it. And now it's at the diesel mechanic because of major engine failure. I mean, we're just throwing money away left and right. And at what point do you say, okay, we gotta stop for a bit? The custom work that I do, we're not making a ton of money on it. We're not making a lot of hay off of it, but we're still having to run over, you know, that 20 acres, and we're still having to do a lot of work. But we're not making the hay that needs to be made, right? And that's where the money lies in it, right? We charge X amount per acre to kind of cover base running costs, but then we charge X amount per bale, right, to try to make some money off of it. I'd be surprised if, you know, with the amount of stuff that broke here this week, I mean, we're not breaking even, not at all. I mean, the rake literally exploded, so that's gonna have to completely be replaced. Honestly, I would say just to buy a roller bar rake for now, pick them up for $1,000. Yeah, they are a little bit slower, and yes, they are annoying to rake with because you can't pick them up. When it comes to, I think, when it comes to, you know, that rotary rake and that roller bar rake, the width of them is not that much different. The speed you can run is not that much different. So honestly, I would say just run with a roller bar rake at this point until I'm running, you know, 50, 80, 100 acres where I need a big rotary rake or something. I would say that would be the route that we need to go right now, is get a roller bar rake. Okay, we can't spend the money on a new rotary rake. That's not in the budget right now. The 966, who knows what that repair bill is gonna be. The AGCO, we've still got to fix the fuel issue on that, but before I even get to the fuel issue, I've got to get that tire fixed and put back on the tractor and get it out of the field. So, lovely. There she sits. It's funny. It's really funny, you know. My big tractor, 966, currently split in two pieces. And my backup tractor, fuel issues and missing a tire. Well, we're getting the last of this hay baled up here. Raking right now. Pretty dry stuff, pretty good stuff. Still got our neighbor's rake. We're gonna finish it up with that. I got my boss's tractor. There's what, 6 acres here, I think. Should be able to pound through it pretty quick. It's not super thick stuff. There's some thick spots here, but